Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel NPA Discovery, where we dive deep into the hidden truths, haunting mysteries, and forgotten legends of Hollywood's golden age. If you love exploring stories that go beyond the headlines and touch the very heart of human experience, then you're in the right place. Now, today's video takes us into one of the strangest and most heartbreaking cases in old Hollywood history, the life and ultimate downfall of actress Marie McDonald. Many of you may know her by her famous nickname, The Body, a title given to her for her stunning looks and curves. But behind that glamorous image was a woman whose life was consumed by disappointment, heartbreak, and scandal. Before we dive deeper into her story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates us to keep uncovering these incredible stories and sharing them with the world. Marie McDonald was born in 1923, and from the very beginning, her life seemed destined to be linked with performance. Her mother, who had once performed in the Ziegfeld Follies, set the stage, quite literally, for Marie's own ambitions. This background tells us something important. Marie didn't stumble into Hollywood blindly. She grew up with performance in her blood, and she was raised in a culture where glamour was seen as the ultimate ticket to success. And yet, here's where I want to pause and add something crucial. The allure of Hollywood in the 1930s and 40s was a trap for so many young women. Yes, it promised riches, fame, and love, but it also demanded sacrifice. Young girls, barely out of high school, left their families and jumped headfirst into an industry that valued their looks far more than their talent. Marie was no different. She showed promise in school and even received an offer for a scholarship in Columbia University's journalism program, a clear path to a secure, respected career. But let's be honest, to a girl raised in the shadow of the Ziegfeld Follies, the classroom simply couldn't compete with the bright lights of Hollywood. She turned her back on academics, dropped out of high school at just 15, and dove headfirst into modeling and pageantry. Here, I want us to reflect on something. Have you ever noticed how dreams often feel bigger than logic when we're young? For Marie, the dream of being admired and adored outweighed the steady path of education. And in many ways, that single choice set the tone for the rest of her life, one driven more by ambition and desire for recognition than by stability. By the time Marie arrived in Hollywood at 17, she was ready to conquer the world. She got her first big break when Tommy Dorsey, the famous band leader, hired her to sing with his orchestra. This wasn't just a job, it was validation. Tommy Dorsey even helped her rebrand herself by suggesting she take her mother's maiden name, McDonald. Think about that for a second. Her entire identity, her very name, was being shaped by men in the industry. This was the first of many times Marie would allow others to define her path, a choice that would both help and haunt her. She soon landed a film contract with Universal Studios, earning $75 a week, a modest amount for Hollywood at the time. But here's the problem, the studio didn't see her as an actress. They saw her as a body. They gave her minor roles and marketed her beauty, leading to her infamous nickname. Now, let me ask you, how many women throughout history have been reduced to just their looks? Marie wanted to be recognized for her talent, but Hollywood kept telling her the same message: your body is your career. And that crushing label would stick with her forever. MGM, scandal, and collapse. Marie wanted more than pin-up fame. She wanted credibility. That dream seemed possible when she signed a contract with MGM, the biggest studio of the time. In 1947, they cast her opposite Gene Kelly in Living in a Big Way. This was supposed to be her breakthrough. A chance to show the world she could act. But things went terribly wrong. Behind the scenes, Marie and Gene Kelly clashed. On screen, their chemistry was cold. The film flopped, and the studio blamed Marie. Now, imagine how crushing that must have felt. You spend your whole life waiting for that one big chance, and when it finally comes, it falls apart, not just because of your talent, but because of forces outside your control. But here's where I think Hollywood's cruelty is most evident. MGM didn't just cut her contract, they humiliated her. They forced her to pay to void the deal, essentially telling her, not only are you not good enough, but you must also pay us for your failure. That's a brutal reminder of how unforgiving Hollywood could be. Success wasn't just about talent, it was about timing, connections, and luck. And if you failed, the industry didn't just discard you, it chewed you up and made sure everyone knew. I can't help but compare Marie's story to other actresses who were scapegoated for box office failures. Take Judy Garland, for example. She was blamed for MGM's financial troubles in the late 1940s despite being one of the studio's most bankable stars. Or even Rita Hayworth, who was adored as a sex symbol but rarely respected for her acting skills. Marie was trapped in the same cycle, admired, but not valued. And as her career faltered, her personal life spiraled into chaos. The 1957 Kidnapping. In January 1957, Marie McDonald staggered into a police station in Indio, California. She was bruised, hysterical, and disoriented. She claimed she had been kidnapped at gunpoint from her own home in Encino, tied up, and driven into the desert by two mysterious men. The story was explosive. The press dubbed her the body once again, but this time, it wasn't for her looks, it was for the shocking crime that had allegedly happened to her. Hollywood gasped. Fans were horrified. How could such a thing happen to a famous actress in her own home? But almost immediately, cracks began to appear in Marie's account. Investigators found inconsistencies in her story. The ropes used to bind her wrists looked suspiciously like props from her own house. Neighbors reported seeing nothing unusual the night she vanished. Even the bruises on her body raised questions: had they been inflicted by kidnappers, or were they self-inflicted during a breakdown? Within days, whispers began spreading: had Marie staged her own kidnapping? The media feasted on the scandal. Headlines questioned her credibility. Columnists mocked her. To the public, Marie McDonald went from victim to possible fraud overnight. And here's where her story becomes almost unbearably sad. Whether Marie fabricated the event or truly suffered an attack, the result was the same: her reputation was destroyed. In the 1950s, when women were often dismissed as hysterical or unstable, the doubt surrounding her story turned her into a punchline. Collapse of a career. After the kidnapping scandal, Marie's career never recovered. Studios, already hesitant to hire her after earlier box office disappointments, now saw her as a liability. Instead of being cast in films, she became a tabloid curiosity. She appeared in minor roles and nightclub performances, but the golden opportunities were gone. The tragedy here isn't just the loss of work, it's the loss of dignity. Marie had fought so hard to prove she was more than the body, but the kidnapping incident erased whatever credibility she had left. Hollywood thrives on image, and Marie's image was now tarnished beyond repair. By the early 1960s, Marie McDonald was no longer a Hollywood star, she was a fading figure, remembered more for scandal than for talent. Final marriages and decline. By the early 1960s, Marie McDonald's life was unraveling faster than ever. After the scandal of her alleged kidnapping and the collapse of her Hollywood career, she still chased love, but each marriage ended in heartbreak. In total, Marie would marry 7 times, a fact the tabloids never let her forget. Each union started with passion and promises, but quickly dissolved into bitterness, abuse, or abandonment. Her longest and most dramatic relationship had been with Harry Carl, but after that ended for good, Marie drifted from one failed marriage to another. Instead of finding stability, she found chaos. Behind closed doors, her reliance on prescription drugs and alcohol grew heavier. Pills for anxiety, pills for sleep, pills for energy, the same cocktail that claimed so many Hollywood lives in the 1960s. Friends reported wild mood swings, paranoia, and a growing sense of isolation. She had everything the world said should make a woman happy: beauty, fame, wealth, but she was desperately unhappy. Marie's decline was no longer hidden, it was playing out in public. And worse, the media portrayed her not as a tragic figure, but as a punchline. The tragic death of the body. On October 21, 1965, tragedy struck. Marie McDonald, just 42 years old, was found dead in her home in Hidden Hills, California. The cause, an overdose of barbiturates and alcohol. Her body was discovered by her sixth husband, Richard Allord. The scene was eerily quiet, another Hollywood star extinguished by the same demons that haunted so many of her generation. The official ruling was accidental overdose. But whispers quickly spread that it might have been intentional, that perhaps Marie had finally succumbed to despair. The saddest part? Hollywood barely paused. The headlines ran briefly, "The body dead at 42, and then moved on." An actress once hailed as the next big thing, once gracing magazines and red carpets, was now reduced to a cautionary tale. Her children, some biological and some adopted, were left behind to grapple with the loss of a mother who had long battled her own demons. A pattern in Hollywood's tragedies. When we step back and look at Marie McDonald's life, her story doesn't stand alone, it fits into a larger, devastating pattern that has haunted Hollywood for decades. Think about it, Judy Garland, adored as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, spent her adult life battling addiction and exploitation, dying at just 47. Jane Mansfield, another blonde bombshell of Marie's era, was killed in a violent car accident at 34. Marilyn Monroe, arguably the most famous woman in the world, was found dead at 36 under mysterious circumstances involving pills. All of these women shared the same traits: beauty, ambition, and extraordinary charisma. But they also shared the same burdens: being objectified, overworked, and discarded by a system that treated them as products rather than people. Marie McDonald might not be as famous as Monroe or Garland, but her life reflects the same toxic cycle: rapid rise, public adoration, personal struggles, and a devastating fall. What Marie's life really teaches us. The true tragedy of Marie McDonald's story isn't just that she died young, it's that she never found peace while she was alive. She was always searching. Searching for love, validation, respect, and stability. Her 7 marriages reveal not a flighty heart, but a desperate desire to belong. Her career highs and lows reveal not a lack of talent, but a system that rewarded appearance over authenticity. And perhaps most tellingly, her bizarre 1957 kidnapping incident speaks to how starved she was for attention, or how unstable her mental state had become. Was it real? Was it staged? Or was it simply the act of a woman pushed to the edge by years of exploitation and heartbreak? When we view Marie's story with empathy rather than judgment, we see something very human: a woman who wanted to be loved, to be taken seriously, to matter. Isn't that what all of us want in some way? Her struggles with addiction weren't just about pills, they were about silencing pain. A pain that came from broken promises, broken dreams, and broken hearts. A final reflection, beyond the scandals. So what do we take away from the story of Marie McDonald? It's easy to dismiss her as just another Hollywood cautionary tale. But that would be unfair. Marie was more than the body. She was a woman of ambition, resilience, and vulnerability. She was someone who kept trying, even after humiliation, loss, and despair. And in that sense, her story isn't just tragic, it's profoundly human. When we remember Marie McDonald today, we should remember not just the scandals and the headlines, but the real person behind them. A woman caught between the glamorous illusion of Hollywood and the painful reality of being human in a world that demanded perfection. Her death at 42 reminds us how fragile life can be, and how desperately we need compassion, for ourselves, and for others who may be suffering in silence. So let us honor her memory not as a cautionary tale, but as a reminder to treat every soul, famous or not, with dignity, empathy, and love. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep bringing you powerful stories of the stars who shaped Hollywood, and the lessons their lives still hold for us today.